So here I am in the Amazon S3 console. And the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, to create a bucket because this is where the data is being stored. So the bucket name has to have a name. And if I enter a name that someone has already taken from before, for example, if I enter test and leave this box and I try to create this bucket, I'm going to get an issue saying that the bucket with the same name already exists. So even though in my account, I've never created a bucket named test, someone in someone's account has created a bucket named test and it's already taken. And so therefore I cannot name my bucket like this. So instead, I will name this Stéphane Demo S3, something like this. And perfect, this bucket name should not have been taken before. We'll have a look at it when I create this bucket, but it should be unique. Next, if we have a look, there is a region this bucket needs to be into. So I'm choosing a region that is close to me, for example, the Ireland region, and you can choose a region that is close to you. But you will notice on the right-hand side, on the top right, that the console says that it's a global selection for the Amazon S3 service. So that means that within the S3 service, you will see your buckets across all regions in one view. But remember that your buckets are not global. Your buckets are created and live only within one region. Okay, perfect. So we have a name, we have a region. For object ownership, we're going to disable the ACLs for now. I will not go over the setting. There's another security setting here to block all public access. We will leave this on by default. Same for versioning, we'll leave the disabled by default. And for default encryption, I will leave the default settings. So we'll just go ahead and create a bucket with these settings set as defaults. So now, as you can see, I've successfully created my bucket Stéphane Demo S3, and it's here in my bucket view. So again, we have in this view access to all the buckets because we're in the global setting, but each bucket is assigned to a specific region. Okay, so next, let's go into this bucket and close the left-hand side panel. And now in my bucket, I would like to start uploading objects because currently I have 0 objects. So let's click on upload and then we can add files. And I'll navigate into your code, go into the S3 folder, and then you will find a coffee.jpg file. So choose this coffee.jpg file. As you can see, it's an image JPEG. It has 100 kilobytes in size. And then the destination is S3 Stéphane Demo, which is my bucket. Okay, so let's upload this file. We're done, so I can close this on the right-hand side. And now back into my S3 bucket, I can see that the coffee.jpg file is under my objects. So what I can do is now click on it and have more details around that file. So now that we are in the object page, we can have a look at a bunch of overviews. So a bunch of properties, where it's been uploaded, the size, the type, and there's an object URL here. We'll be playing it in a moment. So how do we do this? So now we want to open this object and see if we can open it. We can view it because we have uploaded it onto our Amazon S3 buckets. Therefore, I'm going to click on open. And if I do click on open, as you can see, I can see my coffee.jpg file. So this is the one I have uploaded and it is on the internet. Awesome, right? But if I go back to my overview and click on this object URL right here, so I copy it, I paste it and I enter it, as you can see, I get an access denied. And this access denied tells me that I cannot access my object using what's called the public URL. So as you can see here, this public URL is not working, but this URL is working. So what's the difference? Well, this URL right here, if you have a look at it, the beginning is exactly the same, but then the rest is a very, very complicated and long URL because it's called an S3 pre-signed URL. Why? Well, because this URL contains actually a signature that verifies that I am the one making the request, and therefore it has my credentials in it. And so because my credentials are encoded in this URL, then Amazon S3 says, well, Stéphane is allowed to view his own object, therefore I will display it. So this public URL does not work, but this pre-signed URL with my own credentials works. And of course, this URL is only for me. So we'll see how to make that object public later on so that the public URL will function as well. So let's go back into our bucket, the Stéphane Demo S3. And I have one object, but I can create a folder. And this folder name may be called images. So we scroll down and create this folder. So now I have the images folder in my bucket. I can click on it, and within it, I can upload again a file. And this time I will upload the beach.jpg file into, as you can see, the destination is my images folder within my S3 bucket. So let's upload this, close this. As we can see now, we have the beach.jpg object within the images folder. And if I go one level up, we can see the folder here. So this looks just like, the cloud storage service you used to know, such as Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever you want. Here, we have something very similar in terms of the user experience on Amazon S3. So of course, I can go to images and I can delete this folder entirely. So this will delete everything within the folder. And to delete things, I just type permanently delete into the text input, delete my objects, and I'm good to go. So that's it for this lecture. We've seen how we can upload objects into Amazon S3. We've seen how we can open them in 2 different ways, creating folders, deleting folders, and so on. So I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.